I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till we populate a little bit here. Wow, what a crap show this has been this morning. Trying to get this thing going. I think we're up, aren't we? I don't know. I don't know if we are. Nothing seems to be. Nothing so far. So far this morning, nothing. Well, everything up until I got here was going fine. And then, wouldn't you know, I screwed up. We're not on the air right now. We are not on the air. We're just on. I'm just doing the video thing here, talking with you while we populate. I'm playing a song right now because I had to. There's so much stuff to get to, and we have a guest later on this morning too. Kay Sock from Portland, Oregon is going to be on with us. But, geez, I'm off to a terrible. We're almost a half hour into the show here, but bear with me. You're going to be glad you came. I'm telling you that right now because there's just so much stuff to cover. I'm going to try to move it along a little quicker and not comment quite as much, although sometimes it's hard for me. See you, Mike. But time is of the essence today. My audio, I had a problem with my audio. I uploaded the wrong audio to the radio station. I do my home studio work, and then I upload the audio on my G Drive, Google Drive, to the radio station, and I come in here and I get it. Well, I uploaded the wrong 12/11/2020 folder. There were two of them on my computer today. I uploaded the wrong one, so I had no audio when I got here. Thank God my wife was at home. And thank goodness she is a long-suffering person. She would have ditched me years ago, but she bared with me while we got through this, and I got my audio. So stand by. We're on now. Yeah, sweet calendar girl. I love my calendar girl.
It's time for a little fun, a few laughs, and a whole lot of truth. The John James Show is on Legacy 1160 WSKW.
Hey. How are you? Welcome. It's Friday. We got a pretty good day today, I guess. Was it? I don't even honestly remember if it was sunny when I came in. I was on the phone the whole way in. My best friend was on the phone with me. We talked for about a half an hour or so. I'm less than that, but... So I get in here and I realize my audio's at home because I upload it. It's a long story. Long story short, my wife saved me, as usual. So we're ready to roll, and we got a lot of stuff today. We have a guest at about 11:30 this morning from Portland, Oregon. Her name is, her social media name, she's taken off on social media. Her name is Kay Sock. That's what she goes by on social media. And she's on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, Parler, and others by now, I'm sure. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, not the least of which is the most recent autonomous zone in her hometown there in Portland, Oregon, which is going on, and her deplorable mayor, Ted Wheeler. But we'll get to all that a little bit later on this morning. We have a lot of election fraud stuff to tell you about, some very, very troubling stuff, very, very troubling news this morning about this. And more hiding, more cover-up. Hold on. I just want to check my audio meters here. Too much stuff going on. All right. So, yeah, it's worrisome. It's very worrisome. And I'm not saying anything about the investigation per se, but about a specific incident that just occurred. And it just seems to be one thing right after another. And there seems to be roadblocks, not in finding fraud, but in people being allowed to look at it and hear it. We are not being heard. We, the people, are not being heard. They don't care about us. I'm worried. I am beside myself worried about this. I'm with a lot of other Americans too when I say that. We're gonna skip the today in history because we're on late, and I don't have time to deal with that because we have a ton of stuff to deal with. Now, let me get right. Let's cut right to the chase here. Hold on. Let me get my. People have so many windows open on this thing. Let me get my show prep here real quick. Okay. So, start out right out with this. Are you going to love this? You are going to love this. It's a done deal. The Time Person of the Year is two people. Have you heard about this? Joe and Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Time Person of the Year, People of the Year. Joe has already forgotten he won the award last night, and Kamala has now further forgotten the woman who she said should be heard. You know, the one who accused Joe of raping her, Tara Reid. The woman should be heard. I think the woman should be heard. I believe the woman. Hashtag me too. Oh, no. Not now that power is in her grip. No, Kamala doesn't give a crap about the woman. She cares about her own future as leader of the free world. She makes me sick to my stomach. Oh, you're just afraid of powerful women. No, I'm afraid of opportunistic tyrants. Care what gender they are. That would be Joe Biden if he had the wherewithal to be a tyrant. So, now that they've won the honor of Time Persons of the Year, they should be next in line for a Nobel Peace Prize, which, by the way, often goes to those who have done nothing to earn it, like Barack Obama in 2009. And it doesn't go to people who actually broker historic Middle East peace deals like Donald Trump. Boy, that gives it a lot of credence, doesn't it? That gives that award a lot of backing behind it. You've got to trust an award like the Nobel Peace Prize when Barack Obama gets it for doing nothing. He had done nothing in 2009. He had done nothing by 2016. But he won the Nobel Peace Prize a year into his presidency. And Donald Trump, another between Israel and Morocco. Did you hear about this yesterday? Or within the last day or so? Another Middle East peace agreement. Morocco and Israel. And he was nominated twice for a peace prize. No, he can't give it to Donald Trump. These people are unhinged out of their minds, and I will show you unhinged. Oh, do I have some unhinged for you this morning? Let's get to unhinged right now, as a matter of fact. I was going to save this for the election fraud portion, but I want to get to this now because I'm talking about unhinged. I had somebody on, a friend of mine who is a leftist on Facebook, has said that now the Republican Party can't accept that somebody actually won. The people have chosen the president, and the Republican Party is now proving themselves as fascists. You talk about just out to lunch, sick, psychologically disturbed, unhinged. What kind of a fool would say that? Well, I'll tell you what kind of a fool. Somebody who is so indoctrinated by leftist ideology that they cannot think for themselves. They have no brain to think for themselves. They have no objectivity to say, well, maybe there was some fraud here. Let's check it out, because there certainly is reason for fraud. There certainly was opportunity for fraud, and there has been proof of fraud. Yet they are so quick to dismiss it all and say, it's in the news media, the sicko news media dismisses it out of hand. Cynthia Johnson, I told you about this woman yesterday. Here's where I'm going with this. She's still at it. This psychotic woman is still at it. Remember I told you about the Michigan State Representative named Cynthia Johnson? She came to prominence during the testimony with Rudy Giuliani last week. While citizens who had signed affidavits alleging first-hand witnessing of voter fraud spoke, Johnson stepped up to speak, and I could tell, I profile. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, leftists. Go ahead, stop me. Tell me I'm a bad person because I profile. I profiled her, and I would profile her live on the air if I saw her or somebody like her come down the hall. I profiled her. I looked at her. I could tell by looking at her face, her movements, her body language, that she was an activist who was going to cause trouble. And by Godfrey, she did just that. Here's one of her moments during the testimony. Now, mind you, she is from Michigan, and she knows the rules.
You have a point of order.
Yes.
What is your point of order?
Point of order is to have them under oath.
Can't do it.
You're out of order. As I've said, this is something that is not done here in this state.
Okay.
It's really only.
It may not be done under the state, but you're allowing people to come in here and lie, and I know they're lying.
They're lying. I know they're lying. These people, these citizens who signed affidavits, who are throwing their lives out there, who one woman said her life has been ruined for doing it, they are lying. I know they're lying. Well, she was on the receiving end of some awful phone calls, awful voice messages, which I would not condone. They were horrible. They were threatening. They were vile. We played those yesterday. And regardless of what she said or did, nobody deserves the kind of hatred and the kind of threats she got. However, this is what she did. She got up there on the podium. She demanded they be put under oath when she knew, if she's smart, well, I question that, she should know. She's in Michigan. She should know you don't do that in one of these hearings. She was on the committee. She should know you don't put people under oath. So she gets up and arbitrarily, without a modicum of proof, says, they're lying. I know they're lying. To this woman who just said her life had been destroyed because she came forward to report voter fraud she witnessed. So you've got many people out there whose lives are ruined, at least for the time being, and who knows how long. They are true heroes, putting their lives at risk, and they're getting death threats. You don't know what these witnesses who dare sign the affidavit and put their face on national TV and in the national media, you have no idea what they're going through. And you've got some smug politician in Michigan comes out, they're lying. I know they're lying. Well, she got some nasty calls, but on the other hand, what did she expect when she did that? Rejected the testimony out of hand. Cynthia Johnson should have just kept her mouth shut. And further, during an interview with CNN, the dumb CNN bobblehead doll called the claims of voter fraud, before she went to Cynthia Johnson, she called the claims of voter fraud baseless. Again, without proof. These are supposed to be news people. We are doomed if this is going to be allowed to continue with social media, with so-called news media, because they are not fair. And they should not be allowed to call themselves news. So the next time we heard from Representative Johnson after that tirade she went in at the testimony was in a Facebook post threatening you and me, calling us Trumpsters. Listen to Cynthia Johnson.
So this is just a warning to you Trumpers.
Trumpers, that's it.
Be careful. Walk lightly.
Oh.
We ain't playing with you.
We ain't playing with
Enough of the shenanigans.
you. Wow.
Enough is enough. And for those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it. Do it right. Be in order. Make them pay.
Whoa.
I love y'all.
Make them pay. Trumpers. Wow. Well, for that, she lost her committee appointments, including the Oversight Committee, which is the one conducting the fraud hearing. She lost that, but she still wasn't done. No. Now she gets this is a representative. This is an elected official, by the way. Enough morons actually thought this was a good choice for the representative that they voted her into office. Enough idiots in the electorate, just like the Ilhan Omar electorates, the Rashida Tlaib, the AOC. There are idiots who cast ballots. This woman, Cynthia Johnson, is proof of that. So she's not done. All right? Next time she comes out was yesterday. She comes out and she's really upset. This time she starts dropping words like the F-bomb in her video. Listen.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm not worried. I'm not going underground. I'm not changing my phone number. I ain't doing none of that. But we're going to change some shit that's been going on in the city of Detroit.
Nice.
Things that have happened to our people in our community. Oh, yes. The Biden and Harris administration owes the city of Detroit.
Mm.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I put my life on the line for not only the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the city of Detroit. I put my life on the line for justice, for democracy.
Yeah.
And mind you, I never called anyone out of their names, of course, unless they're liars or dumbasses. I appreciate you.
Yeah, right.
Let's do things a little bit differently.
Mm.
We don't have to call people out of their names. We don't have to make threats. All we need to do is use your own words and use your own voicemail messages and use your own videos. Use their own shit. It won't be your words. It will be the words of hate. It will be the words of hatred. And then the whole world can see.
Wow. All right. Now, I don't really know what any of that means, except she is clearly very unhinged and should probably seek some kind of treatment immediately. Representative Cynthia Johnson. The first time I saw her walking over to the microphone, I said, this woman's going to be trouble. I shudder to think what she'll come out with today if she's not in a straitjacket. But she's not on her committees. That probably didn't sit too well with her. 944 on Legacy 1160 WSKW with John James and Freedom's Pep Rally. Richard Grinnell. Have you heard of Richard Grinnell? He's a pretty stand-up guy. He did a video talking, and we'll get back to the election stuff. We were talking about Unhinged. I wanted you to hear Cynthia Johnson, where she has come from, where she is heading. And this is the mentality we're dealing with. This is the unhinged, unbelievable, unaccepting mentality we're dealing with. Calling us Trumpers. We're Trumpers. Well, how can you say you're working for Democrats and Republicans when you're calling a whole party Trumpers? And you're dismissing us out of hand because we're making claims, provable claims, by the way, of voter fraud. And I keep seeing people, there's no proof, because their news media is telling them it's unsubstantiated claims. their baseless claims, says CNN and MSNBC, the morons in the media, because they tell you nothing. They tell you nothing. They aren't even reporting on the Hunter Joe Biden story now. You know nothing about it unless you're listening to this show or maybe one of a handful of other media outlets. You know nothing about it because they only spoon feed you what they think you're able to digest because you haven't grown up yet. In fact, you never will. You need to be cared for from cradle to grave by the leftists. Did you know that? Don't worry, they'll take care of you. They'll take our money and they'll give it to you, and they'll make sure you're taken care of from cradle to grave because they're your nanny. So Richard Grinnell did a video talking about the danger that smarmy, slimy Democrat Eric Swalwell of California may be posing because of his deep personal relationship with a Chinese spy, which may or may not be over. Now she, Fing or Fang Fang, Christina Fang, she changed her name to Christina here in the States, and she went back to, she apparently fled back to China, but she and Eric Swalwell, who he looks just as slimy and is just as slimy as Adam Schiffhead Schiff. So Eric Swalwell has this steamy relationship when I think he's like a city councilor or something in California, and she helped him get into Congress along with George Soros and all the big money that they spent to take over America and the world. So he got into Congress, and they continued their illicit affair, apparently. And Grinnell, who is an American diplomat, political advisor, and media consultant, did a video. He was also ambassador, by the way, but he resigned the position in June as promised after DNI Michael Ratcliffe was installed. Now, here is what Richard Grinnell had to say in his video, and there's a little bit of a Nancy Pelosi in here, too. You're going to want to hear this.
So probably one of the biggest stories of the week, if not the year, is the Chinese spy named Christina Fang infiltrating the office of California Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell. The two spent years developing a long relationship. The spy picked him off, seeing his potential. He was just a city councilman when she first met him. Then Fang helped him get elected to Congress. You wouldn't know that if you watch other networks or listen to any Democrats speaking.
Right.
Because they're pretending the scandal does not exist.
Nothing here.
Now Swalwell is a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Who knows what high-level national security information he might have exposed to the spy. This should concern all of us. It's why I am calling for Swalwell to be removed from the House Intel Committee and Congress, and Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy agrees. But take a listen to Speaker Nancy Pelosi on this national security threat.
Well, I don't have any concern about Mr. Swalwell. I do think that it's unfortunate that Mr. McCarthy is trying to make an issue of this.
No concerns.
No concerns.
And Mr. McCarthy trying to make an issue of this. You've got to be absolutely kidding me. The Russia conspiracy theorist Swalwell possibly exposed our top national security intelligence to China, and Pelosi could not care less. Pelosi spent years spewing propaganda that President Trump is an agent of Vladimir Putin. But when proof of a real threat, this one from China, stares Pelosi in the face, she looks the other way. Why? Because it's her fellow Democrat staring back at her.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Fancy Nancy. Fancy loose touche Nancy. Get her the hell back to California to live. She doesn't take care of her own district. What makes you think she cares about America? She, you know, if you're having a hard time staying in business, you're having a hard time making ends meet, paying your mortgage, paying your rent, paying for your car, paying for your food, paying for your education. You know why? It's because of Nancy Pelosi, not Donald Trump, not Mitch McConnell. Nancy Pelosi keeps saying no to the stimulus, even though she keeps saying she cares about you and wants help for you now. She said that in October. Here it is December, and she has not approved or said she would approve anything unless she gets just what she wants, which is a lot more money so she can spread the love to her special interests. Maybe a little for Planned Parenthood, maybe a little bit more for the Kennedy Center, maybe a little bit more for some of Gavin Newsom, California governor's special, and just a little bit more for her rich friends. A little more power for her, a little more for her friends and her family. Joe Biden, still not president-elect. Sorry, he is not. He may never be. I hope he isn't. I would rather see, who would I rather see that would surprise you as president? I would rather see Susan Collins. How about Susan Collins? I'll pick a rhino. I'd rather see Susan Collins as president. I think she'd do she's more on the ball. She's more with it than Joe Biden is. And she's certainly more honest and objective than Kamala Harris even thought of being. I don't think Kamala Harris ever has a thought about anybody besides herself, ever. But I was a San Francisco district attorney. I was a prosecutor. I've got all kinds of highlights on my resume that make me qualified to be the president of the United States. Well, did you sleep your way up in California with Willie Brown, or is that no comment on that? Did you not prosecute any pedophile priests while you were DA because their lawyers were giving money to your campaign? No comment on that. Well, Ms. Harris, did you stop talking about the Me Too movement and hear Tara Reid's story? The one who accused Joe Biden of rape as soon as you thought you might have a chance of becoming the vice presidential nominee? No comment on that. But I will be great for America. Kamala Harris, I give you Kamala Harris. I'm getting better at that impression, by the way. Not nearly sleazy and disingenuous and phony enough, but I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get my voices down. So Vice President Joe Biden was caught in a leaked audio admitting that Republicans, quote, beat the hell out of Democrats by using defund the police to scare voters away. The audio was leaked from a private listening session made on Tuesday with civil rights leaders, and it went a little something like this.
They've already labeled us as being defund the police. Anything we put forward in terms of the organizational structure to change policing, which I promise you will occur. Promise you. Just think to yourself and give me advice whether we should do that before January 5th, because that's how they beat the living hell out of us across the country, saying that we're talking about defunding the police. We're not. We're talking about holding them accountable.
Accountable. No, Joe, I think you were talking about defunding the police. You're a Democrat, and here's what the unrecognized leaders of your party are saying.
But we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. The Minneapolis Police Department is rotten to the root. And so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer and we allow for something beautiful to rise.
Rise? There you go. There's one of the leaders of your party, Joe. Brother marrying, money stealing, vote buying, Ilhan Omar. That's who that was. Now, defund the police is a call from squad members, and they're in some of America's biggest cities. Minneapolis, New York, Detroit, Boston. Better talk to your people, Joe Biden. Better talk to them. They aren't going to listen to a babbling old man who can't remember where he is, what he's running for, or who his nominees are. He doesn't even know what position they're nominated for. Listen.
I'd like to introduce to you now who will lead the way. I'm really proud of this group. For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria.
All right. Do you mean Secretary of Health and Human Services? Xavier Becerra? Is that who you mean, Joe?
For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria.
Javier Baccaria. For the Department of Health and Human Services. No, it was the Department of Health and Education. Did you get it? It was education. It had nothing to do with education, by the way. It's human services. And he said education. Listen.
For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria.
Javier Baccaria. No, I want you to know what he's nominated for. His name is Javier Becerra, and he's nominated for a Secretary of Health and Human Services. Okay? That was Joe's bad there. That was Joe's bad. We'll cut him a little slack. I mean, it's only his nominee, right? I mean, why on earth would he have to know his name or his position? I mean, that doesn't make sense, does it? It's 9:57 here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. We have got a lot more to get to. Oh, we got a ton more. You're going to love it. You're going to love it because we are telling you the truth. We call out the lies. We tell you the truth. Share this show. Share it on... No, it's not that kind of a show. Share the show. I know I got a lot of in there. We're streaming live at legacy1160.com. The audio is brought to you by the Harry J. Smith Company. Video is brought to you by Moody's Collision Centers, locations throughout Maine. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We are on VK.com. We are on others. We have been on Parler and USA.life. I will try to share the video there as well. Just trust me, we are going to be back. And we do have a ton more to talk to, and you are going to want to hear what is going on. In fact, I've got some very troubling news. Very troubling news out of the state of Michigan. I learned about yesterday. And by the way, I Googled it. I Googled to find it. I could not find it. I went to DuckDuckGo and typed it into DuckDuckGo search engine. It came right up. So Google's at it. They are trying to keep election fraud off their platform. So there you go. Stick around. I've got it all coming up. I'm John James.
Legacy 1160 WSKW.
The holidays may be here, but many of us still have work to do. And a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons can move that big pile of snow, transport that wood, and take care of all your other heavy-duty winter jobs in no time. Coyote tractors are some of the toughest, most powerful, fuel-efficient, technologically advanced tractors ever built. With all their uses, a Coyote tractor is the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Even Santa has a tractor on his wish list this year. Check out the full line of tough and versatile compact tractors, attachments, implements, and accessories at Whittemore & Sons, your Coyote tractor dealer, with dependable sales and service for over 50 years. If you have questions or want to schedule a pickup, just call us at 207-474-2591. Run ahead of the pack with a Coyote tractor from Whittemore & Sons on the Waterville Road in Skowhegan. Sales and service by a family who cares.
Whittemore & Sons, outdoor power equipment.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Center.
If your car is a wreck and you don't know where to go,
take it to Moody's.
You want to get on with your life, get on with the show,
take it to Moody's.
Good people you can trust and it won't be a fuss.
Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
MOODY. Your kid was talking on the cell phone, drove right through your own home, sitting in the parking lot. Maybe you get hit a lot, driving through the green light. Suddenly your side swipe, put it in reverse, but it turned out that it was first.
Take it to Moody's. Take it to Moody's Collision Centers.
The end of the year is bringing with it big savings on new vehicles during the Big Finish sales event going on now at Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Stop in and save now through December 31st. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Lakewood Road, Clowes Corner, Madison.
If you've checked that gift list twice and it's got something different for everyone on it, just head to Town Line Antique Center on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line. With 2 floors and over 50 dealers, you can find the perfect gift for each one of them. Are you worried about spending too much? Well, don't. Town Line Antiques is here to help you with that too. Because all December long, every booth at Town Line Antiques is offering discounts of 10, 20, 30, 40, and yes, even 50% off their selection. There's always new, cool, and unique gift ideas, including things like collectibles, furniture, artwork, signs, books, and so much more. Of course, the problem is you'll not only find lots of great gift ideas, you'll come across things that you may want to take home too. But with their December sale of up to 50% off store-wide, you can take them home, all of them, for less. So don't miss out on this Santa-size sale with savings of up to 50% off this December at Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5 on Route 201 right on the Winslow-Vassaboro Town Line.
At Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union, they understand that when faced with difficult and challenging times, it's a comfort to know that we'll get through this together. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union is committed to keeping not only their members safe, but also their dedicated employees. They're following CDC guidelines, protocols, and social distancing at all of their facilities. They may have changed some of their usual ways of doing business, but they haven't changed how they treat their members. Their safest services are available through drive-up ATM, telephone, easy banking, mobile banking, by phone, or appointment. Lobbies are currently open in the Skowhegan and Farmington branches, and with the holidays just around the corner, Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union has a reason to brighten your season with their holiday loan special going on now through December 31st. Just ask any of their friendly and knowledgeable loan officers in Skowhegan, Farmington, Madison, Kingfield, or Stratton for complete details, or online at f-sfcu.com. Franklin Somerset Federal Credit Union, where their most important member is you. Member NCUA.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Alex Perche. The U.S. is experiencing the deadliest phase so far of the COVID-19 pandemic. Back-to-back days of 3,000 deaths with 107,000 people hospitalized. But the first vaccines could just be days away, says Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, telling ABC.
In the next couple of days, probably, as we work to negotiate with Pfizer the information doctors need to prescribe it appropriately, we should be seeing the authorization of this first vaccine.
UPS and FedEx are ready to begin transporting vaccines. Secretary Azar said people could be getting vaccinated by Monday or Tuesday. 17 Republican attorneys general are supporting a lawsuit from the Republican Attorney General of Texas asking the Supreme Court to overturn election results. Pennsylvania, one of the states sued, called it seditious. The federal government executed Brandon Bernard Thursday for his role in the 1999 double murder despite pleas for clemency. There have been now 9 federal executions since July. This is ABC News. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says a no-deal Brexit looks more likely, where Britain would have to leave the European Union without a trade agreement in place, a result that both sides view as less than satisfactory. Idaho's Governor Brad Little beginning his COVID-19 press conference Thursday, referencing 2 incidents in Boise.
Governor Little issued a stern warning to protesters gathering outside the home of a public health official and to those who left a series of stickers with swastikas placed on the Anne Frank Memorial in downtown Boise.
The reprehensible behavior displayed by protesters and the individuals who defaced the Anne Frank Memorial.
Little saying there's no place for this behavior.
These actions are nothing more than bullying tactics that seek to silence our right to free speech, should not be used to intimidate and scare others.
The governor pleading with residents to spend more time preventing the spread of the virus. Todd Ant, ABC News.
Tommy Tiny Lister has died. The former wrestler was known for his Debo character in the Friday films. Alex Brachet, ABC News.
Some gifts say, I care about you. Some gifts say, I'm going to wow you. This year, one gift says both. It's the new Oral-B IO, the electric toothbrush with the irresistible design that dentists will find irresistible for another reason. It improves oral health by delivering the wow of a professional clean feel at home every single day. This year, give the gift of wow. The Oral-B IO. Oral-B, fresh like a pro.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, welcome back. Told you we'd be back. I told you. Let's see. We have, I'll do a little history for you. We skipped this day in history. Let me see what we've got here. What happened on the, yesterday. It was yesterday's date in 1851. The famous American librarian Melville Dewey was born. Do they use the Dewey Decimal System anymore? I actually knew how to use the Dewey Decimal System in the libraries. I don't imagine today's kids know how to use it. They must still use the Dewey Decimal System. Anyway, so there you go, a little history. Melville Dewey, born on yesterday's date, in 1851. He was a wordsmith. He coined this very famous library word. Shh. That was another Dewey invention. It was on this day in 2008, Bernie Madoff was arrested for a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme, which was at the time the biggest scam in American history. That was, of course, prior to the Trump impeachment inquiry. Little Miss Dynamite, Brenda Lee, having a birthday today. Her new nickname is Little Miss Depends. And tomorrow, Heartbreaker singer Dionne Warwick was born. Do you have Heartbreaker? I love that song. That's my favorite Dionne Warwick song. Do you have it? Can we hear a little bit, maybe? I love this song. My former co-host, Bruce Stevens, this was his favorite song, too. I don't know why. I just have always never got sick of this song. And believe me, I got sick of plenty of songs over the years, but not Heartbreaker. Dionne Warwick. She got a new song out called Hip Breaker. She's getting old. I didn't like some of her earlier stuff, like Do You Know the Way to San Jose? She's rewritten that, too. She's written a song now and sings it. It's called Do You Know the Way to the Villages, America's Friendliest Hometown? Again, she's getting up there in years, so it kind of figures. And the execution in Terre Haute, Indiana, took place, I guess, at the U.S. Penitentiary there. Convicted killer Brandon Bernard. He turned down his last meal before his execution. He said he was watching his weight. So you can no, I don't mean to make fun of the dead, but he earned it. He earned it. I mean, he was executed. He can take a joke, right? What's he going to do? Kill me? 10:09 on Legacy 1160 WSKW. Oh, back to the horrible, horrible things going on in our country. right now. Small business, with all of these lockdowns in cities across America, taking its toll on businesses. A new study just came out. Nearly half, 50%, nearly 50% of small business owners in America are at risk of closing due to the lockdowns. About 48% of the owners say they are generating revenues below what they need to stay in business. Almost half, according to Alignable's Small Business Funding Needs Report. That was on Fox Business. The report surveyed 6,300 U.S. business owners during the first week in December. It's been a long, frustrating 8 or 9 months for small business owners as they've worked tirelessly to save businesses, livelihoods, and the jobs of everyone they employ, according to Alignable CEO Eric Groves. He said the Paycheck Protection Program passed by Congress was only a short-term fix. His organization reported 87% of small business owners say they need additional funds to survive. Fully 60% say it's critical. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, meanwhile, shoot down every offer they have, including more than $1.8 trillion that the president said he would sign. Now they're down to, 600 and something billion? 693 billion or something like that. Mitch McConnell has said the Senate would be okay with. But Nancy Pelosi on CNN, you heard her yesterday, she was talking with Wolf Blitzer. We've got to help people now. No, we're not going to shine. We're not going to okay a $1.8 trillion plan. Okay, that's how much she cares about you. That's how much she really cares about small business and people in America. She's all talk through her loose dentures and no action. I mean, look at her own district. She doesn't care about her own district. You think she cares about the rest of us? Well, I feel ignorant today, and I'll tell you why. You're going to feel ignorant too, I think. I thought I understood news media. I really did. I thought I understood news media. I'd been taught, I had learned, I had seen, I have experienced firsthand how news media works. You get the information from a reliable source, even if you have to investigate it, even if you have to send a so-called stringer or reporter out to dig deep into the information. You get the information, you report it to the people, and you let them decide, what they're going to do with that information, how they're going to respond to it. I thought I understood. And I thought I understood that news media engaged in the best reporting they could in order to get good ratings by getting as many people to watch as possible. But I have to admit, I was wrong about all of it. Apparently, I come to find out, mainstream so-called news outlets don't want at least 74 million people to watch them at all. In fact, they are calling for revenge. The news media is calling for revenge on us because we, the racists, voted for Donald Trump. Everyone from Chris Cuomo at CNN to Bill Maher, to Sonny Hostin and the ladies on The View, they want revenge. Don't believe me? Listen to this little mix of voices here. See if you recognize any or all of them.
Let me tell you something about the 69 million people that voted for Donald Trump. These people have revealed themselves for the racist that they are, for the
MSNBC.
You think that's every Trump voter? They voted for this consciously, knowing what Donald Trump stood for the last 4 years. They know him.
Yeah, you are being targeted, but not because you're victims, because you're victimizing the rest of us.
And I don't think that they should be forgotten. And I don't think that we should look the other way. I think we need to remember.
People must remember and hold you to account.
I do think that people need to be held accountable.
How much are we going to just let pass by?
You cannot come into this White House with the idea that these people aren't the enemy. They are.
The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, at a time of moral crisis, remain neutral.
Shame on them. They are going to lose way more than this election.
Wow. That's the news media. Oh yeah, there's washed up Keith, I don't want to know, or I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, Olbermann. Because he keeps changing careers. Whenever he gets pissed off by Donald Trump and the right, he comes back. And here's what Keith Olbermann has to say.
We want the prisons so filled with Trumps and Trump flunkies and Trump apologists and Trump enablers that we have to convert Trump buildings into new goddamn Trump prisons. We want enough of them in there that they can hold reunions and birthday parties.
Boy, he's a bright one, isn't he? Huh? Formerly MSNBC. So if you voted for Trump, you are not someone to disagree with. You are a racist, a tribalist, a flunky. You're a hell-bound enemy. Boy, they sure have a way of making us feel welcome, don't they? I'll watch their news tonight. All of them. All of them. They are the creme de la creme of information. Bet they don't get banned from Twitter. All right, before we get back into the politics of everything here, let's we're going to start with Michigan. So let me start with this out of Michigan. Another troubling piece. A southeast Michigan school district, and this is just a sign of the times under a Biden administration, because there's going to be no pushback. In fact, there's going to be every reason to continue with these types of movements in public schools. We've seen it everywhere, but it's going to be rampant now if Biden becomes and he's not the president-elect, by the way. So a Southeast Michigan school district is clearing the way for its transgender students to use restrooms and locker rooms they identify with. The same goes for sports. Oh, that's fair. Isn't that fair? Gonna need a participation trophy for some of the girls who have to have transgendered girls on their teams, aren't we? Because they'll never win again. Track and field, cross country. The transgender girls always win. Look at Connecticut. And Joe Biden, of course I think transgender should be able to play in the sports they identify with. Probably forgot he said it by now, but he said it. Under this new policy at this school district in Michigan, born females who are transgender can use male facilities and participate in male sports, and vice versa. WDIV Local 4 in Michigan reports, it was approved by the Plymouth Canton Community Schools Board of Education during a virtual meeting on December 8th. And that tells you pretty much who makes up these school boards. Look at Dover Foxcroft. Dover Foxcroft, a more northern Maine town. Not even part of the woke Southern Maine crew. Look at their school board. Well, if you missed that, we'll get into it sometime. We've got Amy, who is a great spokesperson. She is a concerned parent in Dover. But we'll save that for another time. But I mean, these things all tie together. The policy has been in the works for about a year, according to the TV station. While there were comments for and against it during a meeting, most were in favor. I bet I know the ones who weren't. I bet there were a lot of the students who weren't. So the lack of transparency continues here. They are doing this in these school board meetings that nobody can attend except the school board, and they make the rules. They say there's all kinds of people in favor of it, but there's no public meeting, so how do you know? You have to take their word for it, but they're woke, so they know what they're doing. You leave them alone. You don't question authority. Do you understand? Speaking of lack of transparency, Patrick Colbeck, an election challenger in Michigan, had some very troubling news. I want you to hear this. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. It was a query. It was more of a query than anything else. Now, on Sunday morning, this past Sunday morning, a forensic audit of a Dominion machine began in Antrim County, Michigan, after it was learned that 6,000 or so votes had been flipped for Joe Biden, thanks to algorithms. So yesterday, I queried, what happened with that? They had 48 hours, so till Tuesday morning. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they had 48 hours. So they started just after 8 Sunday morning. Audit was to be done by about the same time on Tuesday morning. And there it was Thursday. Yesterday, I was wondering, so what is the deal? Well, yesterday on Fox Business, Lou Dobbs had Michigan election challenger Patrick Colbeck on the show and asked him the question I had. Why don't we know the answer yet? And this answer will trouble you.
That's a good question, Lou. Ever since I figured out what day it was after serving as a poll challenger at the Detroit AV County Board, my number one mission was to get access to those servers in Antrim County. I've been working with a group of patriots to do just that. And today, we were supposed to get the results of that forensic analysis that was done by an outside group. And unfortunately, Judge Kevin Elsenheimer actually ruled in favor of an order that was requested by the Attorney General, Dana Nessel of Michigan, to prohibit the disclosure of those of those forensic results. So here we have yet another example of cardboard up on the window, like we saw in Detroit, where all these people that are saying that there is no evidence of election fraud are deliberately going out of their way, filing court orders to prevent the dissemination of evidence of election fraud.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. There's your answer. So the lack of transparency continues. The leftist AG, Dana Nessel, and the judge, by the way, Dana Nessel doesn't like you saying Merry Christmas. They have prohibited us from knowing what the results of the forensic audit were. So we as Americans aren't even allowed to know, giving them plenty of time to plot their next lie. There's your answer. Oh, yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead, examine the forensic evidence in the voting machine, but you can't tell anybody. Can't tell anybody how it comes out. Sorry, not till after Joe Biden's elected and sworn into office. Then maybe we'll let you release a little bit of it. This is America? Yeah, that was a question. Sure doesn't seem like it. Sure doesn't feel like it. Are you worried yet? I don't know. Is any of the investigating, any of the proof even matters? I'm not sure it even matters. We've got judges left and right refusing to hear evidence. And when we do look for evidence and maybe find evidence, a judge and an attorney general tells us, well, we can't know what it is. We can't hear the results of the audit. There's something very, very wrong with this. Now, we've got a lot more states that have signed on to the Texas lawsuit, which is hopefully headed to the Supreme Court. But will it matter? Will it even matter? They aren't allowing evidence. I don't care, Republican, Democrat. It seems like they're all complicit in this. They don't want anybody to know that there was fraud for whatever reason. For whatever reason. Why the Republicans, you ask? Well, maybe they want what the left wants secretly. Maybe they want the power. Maybe they have been drinking the Kool-Aid. Maybe they don't want us to know their little secret, that the vote was in fact rigged. There are plenty of never-Trumpers in the Lincoln Project and in Congress. Plenty of them. And on the bench and in high positions that can dictate what you are and are not allowed to litigate, to hear, to know. And they are the only ones who get the say. The people, including the over 1,000 who have signed sworn affidavits, who have had their lives torn apart by coming forward and becoming public, had their lives ruined. They don't get to be heard. You're not even going to throw them a bone and say, okay, all right, we'll hear the evidence. Go ahead, give it to us. They don't want to hear the evidence because they know there will only be one way to rule on it, and they don't want to be stuck with that. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid Donald Trump will be the president for the next 4 years. As I say, there are plenty of Republicans who don't want that, despite the fact Donald Trump has been the best president I've seen in my lifetime. And even though the left won't admit it because their news media won't let them, the news media is lying to them by omission and by out-and-out lies. The leftists know damn well, if they actually research, what Donald Trump has done that's good. But the people in control, enough of them, don't want us to know, want us to shut up and stop asking questions. Joe Biden's the president-elect. Whether your vote counts or not, you don't deserve to know. Over 100 GOP House members have jointly filed a brief supporting the Texas lawsuit against the 4 battleground states, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The allegation is that they violated their election laws, and the argument is that their results should be voided. House Republicans filed an amicus brief supporting Texas case. In the meantime, 17 other states, 18 including Texas, maybe more by now, I don't know. 17 other states has signed on as amicus curiae, signaling their support of the suit's efforts. Missouri, Arkansas, Nebraska, and others announced that they mutually hold several important interests in the same case. So there are some more states. Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge released this statement. Here's what she had to say.
I'm Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. After reviewing the motion by the state of Texas today to the Supreme Court, I've determined that I will support the motion by the state of Texas in all legally appropriate manners. Arkansans and Americans have had real concerns about the integrity of the federal election process in 2020. the integrity of our elections is critical and paramount to the success of the United States of America.
And by the way, not surprisingly, 22 Democratic states have gone ahead and filed opposition to the Texas case. And not surprising, and I'm ashamed to say, Maine is one of them. Thank you, Governor Mills. Thank you once again for standing in the way of freedom-loving Americans. You are buying yourself a one-term stay in the Blaine House. I wish it didn't have to be that, but unfortunately, it probably does. So we can look forward to more lockdowns, we can look forward to more mandates, and now we can look forward to her supporting anything that goes against our fair election in the United States, because she is nothing if she is not a follower. Oh, but she's following science. Really? Really? Okay. Think what you will. Think what you will. 1031 Legacy 1160 WSKW. According to Citizen Free Press, somebody on the phone? All right, let me finish this story. Are they there? Hi there. You still on? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Oh, this is this Megan from New York?
Yes, she. This is she.
Okay, you sounded different. I've got to get through this story here. Bear with me for a second, okay? According to a Citizen Free Press report, more than 24 House Republicans sent a letter to President Trump Wednesday requesting that the president direct Attorney General Bill Barr to appoint a special counsel to probe irregularities in last month's election. The American people deserve a definitive resolution to an uncertainty hovering over the outcome of our election, but legitimate questions of voter fraud remain unanswered because they don't want them answered. It says that's what the letter says. 27 GOP representatives signed this letter, by the way. So you got to give some credit to some of not all of Congress are a bunch of lapdogs for the Democrats. Now, the Department of Justice was asked on multiple occasions to launch an investigation into the matter, but inaction from the department, along with public comments made by the Attorney General and his lack of willingness to investigate the irregularities, make it seem like many in the DOJ are aligned with the radical left. And then you've got Christopher Wray over in the FBI. We'll get to him here in a little while, too. Refusing to help at all. The appointment of a special counsel, according to the letter, would establish a team of investigators whose sole responsibility is to uncover the truth and provide the certainty American needs, according to the lawmakers who signed the letter. And that's all we want. If the election is fair, if there is a nonpartisan group, a whole big pile of them from both sides looking into the matter, and they come up, they would almost have to be nonpartisan to the extent that they would admit the truth and not admit their side of the truth. Because the Democrats, like this woman, Cynthia Johnson in Michigan, who is a radical activist, is never, there could be a treasure trove of proof that Donald Trump actually won the election by a big margin, and she would never say it happened. She would be the first to come out and say, oh, it's all hype. It's all lies. You need a nonpartisan, objective investigation. And it doesn't seem we can even get it from Bill Barr or our own Department of Justice. So what's up here? What is up? It just gives the left more fodder to say, well, see, there's nothing. There was no fraud. There's no proof of any fraud. They aren't letting us hear of any proof. They aren't letting us see. They aren't giving us any credibility. And they are being fortified by the news media, the hapless, unobjective, immoral news propaganda. Or no, I'm sorry, those sort of are conflicting terms, aren't they? Let's just call them propaganda networks. Chuck Todd's network, MSNBC and NBC included. So there's where we are right now. We've got some Sidney Powell audio coming up. Megan, what's on your mind this morning?
Hi, Vay. I'm just.
Oy vey. I hear that quite a bit. Oy vey. Yeah.
The Sydney Johnson, really, she put her life on the line for this country.
Oh my word, Cynthia
Johnson. Another chair.
She
preaching to people basically and being very partisan. By the way, let's see. I'm pretty sure that people like me or service members put their life on the line for this country, or people who come forward and jeopardize everything, their livelihoods, their careers, put their families at risk to be whistleblowers and speak the truth on the fraud in this election. They put their life on the line.
Well, Cynthia Johnson says, they're liars. I know they're liars. How? How does she know they're liars? Giving up their lives? Submitting affidavits, testifying in front of a national audience. She knows they're liars? How does she know this? She must be I don't know, what would you call somebody like that? Somebody with some sort of mental telepathy, a mind reader, a truth machine? What is she anyway, other than a Democratic hack?
She's not any of those. She's a hypocrite. She is partisan, 100%. She's complicit, along with every other Democrat and Rhino.
And Republicans, too.
Yep, Rhinos, too.
Yeah.
And the media, along with social media, all of them. They're all complicit because they know the truth, and they're trying to hide it. I mean, like you talked about with these machines being audited by an independent party in Michigan, Antrim County. I mean, it's even being shown in the judges from state to state.
Of course.
They are partisan. Either they're being threatened or they're completely partisan and they know what's going on. And they're deliberately blocking the truth from coming out and lying.
And it's unconstitutional. And nobody's calling them out. Nobody is demanding. Where are the people in Michigan demanding? It's we the people. Hey, government, you work for us. An audit was done on a machine to see if it was rigged, to see if the algorithms gave Biden votes. And they are saying, we can't see it. Well, what the hell gives you the right?
I'm pretty sure there are Michigan people that are speaking up, but the news ain't going to cover that.
No, you're right. The media won't cover it. You're right.
Look at the post I posted and the videos I shared to you. They took it down. I challenged it, by the way, all those violations of community guidelines. And
yeah, well, they don't care about challenges.
I got full response back. Oh, you're correct. It didn't violate community guidelines, but yet my posts aren't back up.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, no, it violates their community. It violates the world according to them. Yeah, that's all. I mean, they're a bunch of leftists. There are a bunch of leftists who work for these organizations.
Well, it's just like how people try to say there are two truths. No, there's only one truth.
Truth. Right, of course.
There might be two sides of the story, but there's only one.
There's only one truth. Yeah. They deny.
This was a fraud. This was so many people were complicit in, John, and it's no longer sporadic fraud. I mean, the evidence that's coming up, even the ones that are even the stuff that's being blocked, with all the evidence that has come up, this is becoming widespread.
Of course it is. There are too many people in too many places with too much proof, with too many affidavits for this to be nothing. But they are treating it like nothing.
And it's like Rudy Giuliani said in the hearings in Michigan, where they dared to call these people liars, these witnesses. And one of the witnesses spoke up and said, did you swear under oath? Did you swear under perjury?
Right, I heard that, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I did.
No, it's sick. We're in a tough place. The people are going to speak, and it may not be what they want to hear. And I'm not talking about verbally either. We have been very calm, and we aren't asking for them to go and look until you find Donald Trump won. We're saying look to make sure there was no fraud, and that nothing makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense. In fact,
it's not statistically possible, John. Even normal people, normal everyday people don't have to have an advanced math degree, okay, to know that these statistics, the statistical data out there just doesn't make sense. I mean, how can you have 120 or more turnout rate percentage for voting? That's just not statistically possible.
No. Well, I'm not. That figure is one I haven't seen corroborated anywhere, but I did see the real mathematician. I put this on the radio the other day. I don't have his name right here. I'm not going to look for it. But he is a well-renowned professor, and statistically, and I can't remember what news network this was on. I think it might have been Fox News, but this guy was on, and the chances of the election turning from the time they stopped counting, whatever time it was, like 2 or 3 in the morning, it was Donald Trump was ahead by so much that for Joe Biden to statistically take over and take the lead in the 4 states being checked right now was 1 quadrillion to 1.
Exactly.
1 quadrillion to 1.
And like these diminishing machines and how these massive data dumps, 90 minutes processed over 200,000 votes. That's just not statistically.
No, it's not. No, you're right. No,
it's funny how it's exactly what he needed to gain,
yes,
ahead and plus some.
Right.
It's statistically impossible. I mean, you look at the numbers and the breakdown in Georgia, over 66,000 people alone under the age by Georgia law voted illegally.
Oh, there's all kinds of stats like that. Yeah, underage people, dead people, people who
letting these stand.
People who weren't registered.
The law, and I mean, anybody could check these. They could check the voter roll. They could check the registry for everybody who voted. To see their date of birth and whatnot, because that's public records, and see that these are not legal votes.
But they don't want to. This has been in motion since well before the election. So they got the right people in place. They knew what they were doing, and they know what they're doing. And now they're getting close to getting busted, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen, including but not limited to.
The growth of the states with Texas has grown. From last I checked, it's now up to 22.
Is it 22 states?
Yes, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona has now joined, Florida, Indiana, Iowa, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming.
But there's also 22 Democratic states, including our great state of Maine, and I'm sure your great state of New York, that has said, no, we don't want the Texas lawsuit to proceed. It shouldn't. So guess
the stimulus bill going on too. This is ridiculous. You know what? I say let the government shut down. They shouldn't get paid if they're not doing their freaking job.
Well, they aren't.
Enough is enough.
They aren't going to do their job. They will not do their job because they're.
So far, Mitch McConnell has not signed the bill to extend for a week, which means it would be extend for a week for them to be paid, and the government would shut down. And you know what? I think that needs to continue. I don't like government shutdowns, but you know what? They shouldn't get paid if they're not doing their job.
Unfortunately, the workers it hits are not the ones it should hit. The workers it hits are the ones who are just trying to make ends meet, like you and me, who have no power. The ones in power don't lose anything. They make sure of that. They make sure the ones who have the power to control the narrative don't lose their pay, don't lose their livelihood. They have this all figured out. And they aren't the government for the people anymore. And unless they
never have been.
No, well, and it's
a long time. They never have been.
But it's never been as apparent as it is now. And
it is so apparent. And last time I checked, they work for us. We pay their salaries. So you know what? I know it affects us lower people, these lockdowns, but maybe an extensive lockdown needs to happen because you know what? Maybe they shouldn't get paid for a while because this is ridiculous.
Well, we'll see what happens. Their funding is out, next week from today, right? I think it's next Friday. So we'll see. Megan, listen, I'll let you go. Here you get your hands full there anyway, but thank you for calling, and keep the I say keep the faith, keep the hope. I mean, I'm losing faith real quick.
I have both.
Yeah. All right. You have a great weekend. Okay.
You too.
Bye, Megan.
Bye.
I'm losing hope real quick too, because I don't think. Now, so Megan says there are 22 states now in with Texas. There are 22 states, Democrat states, including Maine, with Governor Janet Tyrant Mills, who are pushing against the Texas lawsuit. Given what we've seen, who do you think is going to win the argument? They give things to the left. They give things away to the left. And if you're one of these radical leftists who are saying there's no voter fraud, it's been proven, like hell it's been proven. They won't even listen to the evidence. The judges have thrown it out. They've rejected these requests to look at the election. They've rejected them out of hand. Republicans and Democrats. At least let us have our day in court. But no, that would be too constitutional, wouldn't it? If there is a question of illegality, and clearly there is, if there is a case to be argued, let it be argued. Thank God for people like Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis and Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell. Thank God for them. If not for them, and if not, what? Because they're the only ones who have a chance to be heard in front of these moronic tyrants. The people we've got as passionate of people out here. But we have no power because the government doesn't listen to us, even though they're supposed to, because we're their boss. We're the ones that put them into power. We're the ones that can take them out of power. But they don't see it. They reject that. They reject us. They are looking for power. They are looking for lifetime appointments. They are looking to be the ones who control us forever. And they're getting there. They are winning. We can't let them win. Gonna take a break here. We'll take a break, a couple of minutes. And we'll be back. We'll be able to go right to the top of the hour this hour. So stick around. So much more to come. And boy, we're just about at the boiling point. This Michigan story that came out, if you missed it, just in case you missed it, let me bring you up to speed real quick. We found out yesterday in an interview with Lou Dobbs, one of the Michigan poll watchers, told Lou Dobbs, here's the dealio. The legal team was given the okay to have a Michigan Dominion machine audited. It was audited Sunday morning to Tuesday morning, 48 hours. I wondered yesterday, so whatever happened with the audit? Well, we find out this morning, or last night, if you caught the interview last night, and you probably, unless you watched Lou Dobbs, you probably didn't. Because you can't Google it and find it. Because Google is hiding the searches. You can find it on DuckDuckGo, surprisingly, but you can't on Google because Google is part of the problem. They are part of the problem. So the deal is, a judge said, yes, the machine has been audited. It underwent a forensic audit, but you cannot tell anybody the results. Well, what happened to we the people? What happened to we the people and our right to run the government? Why is the government suddenly running us? And why are they lying to us? And why are they denying us due process? A few good questions you should be asking, and I should be asking. I am asking. You should be too. Stick around. Back with more. I'm John James.
WSKW.
If you've checked the gift list twice, and it's got something different for everyone on it, just head to Town Line Antique Center on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line. With 2 floors and over 50 dealers, you can find the perfect gift for each one of them. Are you worried about spending too much? Town Line Antiques is here to help you with that too. Because all December long, every booth at Town Line Antiques is offering discounts of 10, 20, 30, 40, some even 50% off their selection. There's always new, cool, and unique gift ideas, including collectibles, furniture, artwork, signs, books, and much more. Of course, the problem is you not only find lots of great gift ideas, you'll come across things that you may want to take home for yourself. But with their December sale of up to 50% off, you can take them all home for less. So don't miss out on this Santa-sized sale with savings up to 50% off this December. At Town Line Antiques, open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5, Route 201, right on the Winslow-Vassalboro Town Line.
The end of the year is bringing with it big savings on new vehicles during the Big Finish sales event going on now at Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Stop in and save now through December 31st. Haight Chrysler Dodge Jeep, 507 Lakewood Road, Clowes Corner, Madison.
Season's greetings from the Shibley family and Bob's Cash Fuel. If quality and reliability for all of your home heating and cooling needs is important to you, then choose Bob's Cash Fuel in Madison. Starting out with just 1 truck for deliveries in 1981, they've continued to grow to a locally owned and operated full-service company offering experience and a staff of trusted and loyal professionals. Bob's Cash Fuel offers heating oil, kerosene, diesel, gasoline, propane, and 24-hour emergency service for heating and cooling. And now with their new app, you can order fuel right from your phone, check account information and delivery status, make a payment, and more. Download the app at the App Store today. Bob's Cash Fuel also offers emergency oil and propane delivery to all of their customers. Not sure what to get someone this holiday season? Give them a gift card that can be used for any product or service at Bob's Cash Fuel. To heat or cool and propane too, call Bob's Cash Fuel. Happy holidays from Bob's Cash Fuel, Route 148 in Madison, your System 2000 premier dealer.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Expect a mix of sun and clouds for today with temperatures climbing into the low to even some mid-40s. Cloudy tomorrow with rain developing late afternoon and evening. Freezing rain developing inland and through the mountains. Expect some slick travel with icing possible Saturday night into early Sunday, especially away from the coast. Clearing Monday and turning colder for next week.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Hey, welcome back. Freedom's Pep Rally. I'm John, your buddy. Just looking for where we should go next. Sidney Powell, let's do us some Sidney Powell here. As big trouble is on the horizon for all of us, not just Maine, but America. This is got to be taken. This national election ordeal is the clear and present danger. And we need to address it. I know I was just looking at a text, and I hear you, man. I understand. Tyrant Mills is greasing the skids for her departure in future elections. I get that. But there is so much corruption going on in our national government right now that, you know, if we lose this, we've lost it. We've lost everything. Everybody has lost everything. And if America did in fact vote the way the left says they voted, well, I guess we'll have to accept that, right? But you cannot make me believe they did. It just flies in the face of common sense, even. The fact that the left says there's nothing to see here, Joe Biden won the election fair and square, just that fact alone. The more you guys yell on Facebook and Twitter, well, just shut up, Joe Biden won the election. The more you say that, the more, number one, I know you are drinking the Kool-Aid, and number two, the more I believe Donald Trump should be president for another 4 years. Go ahead, keep yelling, because you're making fools of yourselves, and you're giving everybody a better reason to believe that the election was rigged. Get your head out of the sand. I hate to think that many people are cheering for the downfall of the most free nation, the freest nation in the world. It scares me. Never been so worried in my life. Sidney Powell, an independent lawyer working on the election fraud case, spoke with Lou Dobbs on Fox Business yesterday. Lou Dobbs is really getting some, believe me, I will admit, Lou Dobbs is very right-wing. He is. But nobody else is giving Sidney Powell or Rudy Giuliani or Jenna Ellis airtime. Nobody. Unless it's to just use a sound clip and then excoriate them like Stephanie Rule and Ali Velci on MSNBC. That's the only time they will entertain even a piece of audio from these people, is when they want to tear them a new one. Good for Lou Dobbs. So, Sidney Powell is mystified about how the DOJ and other officials won't even take the time to entertain the valid claims of fraud in the November 3rd election. Very unnerving for all of us, especially when an attorney can't make sense of it. Here's what she had to say about Christopher Wray's FBI. This is Sidney Powell.
There's no explanation for the way the FBI has treated witnesses good American citizens who've been brave enough to come forward with direct evidence of things like thousands of ballots moving from one state to another in the middle of the night to do what is called backfilling into the machines so that they can perpetrate their fraud, because President Trump won so many votes, he blew up their algorithm. The American people blew up the algorithm they created before the election to shave votes from Biden and give them to Trump.
Now, what she meant is shave votes from Trump to give them to Biden. Okay, go on.
And we're now seeing direct evidence of that happening in multiple counties in multiple states, and we know it happened across the country. You'd have to be a damn fool and abjectly stupid not to see what happened here for anybody who's willing to look at the real evidence. I've uploaded a ton of it on our website at defendingtherepublic.org. And Twitter is even trying to destroy our new website, kraken-wood.com, where we're also trying to get the word out to the American people on what's been happening here and the truth, and upload documents. Twitter took our account down the first night.
Of course Twitter took your account down, because they're baseless claims. Unlike Russia collusion, they didn't censor any of the Russian collusion posts because there was so much truth to them. After all, you have the incomparable Adam Schiff making the allegations, and we know what a stand-up guy he is, right? Oh, yes. Now, again, if you want to check out the website she spoke of, one of them, kraken-wood.com. That's KRAKEN-wood.com. Kraken-wood.com. And you can get some information right there. And we'll be back with more coming up after the news, including this hour. We have got, for those watching right now on the video, wherever you are, K-Sock is her moniker on all of the social media sites. She is a Portland, Oregon resident, and she is a social media, I guess you would call her influencer. And we're going to have her on at 11:30, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff going on there in Portland, Oregon, and get her thoughts on the election and what is happening across the country with the COVID-19 lockdowns. And so we'll have about a half an hour with her. And I can't wait, honestly, to get her on. We've got 10:59, right? Actually, it's 11 o'clock, just changed. Back with more. This is Freedom's Pep Rally, and I'm John James.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington. This is WSKW, Skowhegan, Augusta, Waterville, Legacy 1160.
ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan. The number of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. is up by more than 44% from a week ago, even as the FDA tells Pfizer that it's working on emergency use authorization of that company's coronavirus vaccine. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
Infectious disease experts tell us that at least initially that vaccine won't make a dent. What will is compliance and public closures and mask wearing.
Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says the first vaccinations could come Monday or Tuesday. There's still no economic deal in Congress, with unemployment benefits set to run out at the end of the month. A primary issue, Republicans want a shield against lawsuits for schools, businesses, and healthcare facilities. More than 100 congressional Republicans are supporting the lawsuit filed by the Republican Attorney General of Texas against 4 states won by Joe Biden, asking the Supreme Court to overturn the election results. One of the 4 states, Pennsylvania, calls the suit seditious. This is ABC News. Another federal execution is scheduled for today after Brandon Bernard Thursday night became the 9th person executed by the federal government this year. ABC's Andrea Fujii has details.
It's rare for federal executions to happen during a presidential transition period. This is the first one since the late 1800s. And 4 more are planned before President-elect Joe Biden is inaugurated. Biden vows to end federal executions.
Last chance talks aimed at securing a post-Brexit trade deal with the European Union unfold this weekend. Here's ABC's Tom Rivers in London.
The make-or-break stakes couldn't be higher, and as the British Prime Minister says, there's a strong possibility that no agreement can be struck.
The talks will continue, but I do think it's vital that everybody now gets ready for that Australian option.
By that he means a no-deal exit, one in which only World Trade Organization rules would apply, a less than satisfactory result as seen by both sides.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Introducing Canada Dry Bold Ginger. It's not your grandma's ginger ale. I know because I'm not your grandma. I don't pressure you to get married. I say play the field all you want. And I drink new Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that would blow the bingo cards out your grandma's bag. I drink it while watching backyard wrestling. There's more on the line when the wrestlers don't have insurance. New Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
It's time for a little fun, a few laughs, and a whole lot of truth.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris only represents terrorists and arsonists and people who murder retired cops in St. Louis. I know that the Democrats have turned into the Marxist Party. I know they hate America. They hate the Constitution. And if the Democrats get in charge, we will be a suburb of Venezuela. And I hope everybody out there knows that we, the people, have an absolute moral obligation to vote God, family, country, freedom, Constitution. And if you don't vote those basic principles, the communists and the Marxists would like to thank you.
The John James Show is on Legacy 1160, WSKW.
Thank you, Uncle Ted, for speaking truth unapologetically, as we do every day on this show. I see so much hate coming out of people. There's a woman we've had on this show before. She is a national personality. And the vile hatred and threats and doxing she gets because of her opinions. The name she is called, it makes you want to throw up. I have seen it with my own eyes. If you don't like what somebody's saying, it's a free country. Tune out. Leave it alone. How dare you dox people and threaten people? It's a free country. If you want to live in that kind of a socialist society, then get the hell out of America. If you don't like free speech, leave America. We're going to get free speech back. We're going to get it. It's not going to get to the point Jonathan Turley, esteemed professor at George Washington University, liberal, worries about, where we aren't going to be able to engage in so-called hate speech in our own homes. Otherwise, we could be thrown in jail. Yes, that's what he fears it's coming to in America. And he says, by the way, Jonathan Turley is a liberal. He's a Democrat. By the way, Jonathan Turley says this is what the Democrats are pushing. Who better to call out a Democrat than a Democrat? And I know a lot of Democrats that are worried, sick about this, from not just the garden variety Democrats, not your fathers and grandfathers Democrat, from the leftist progressives. And there are young, there are old, they're all over the place. They are Nancy Pelosi, they are Chuck Schumer, they are AOC and Ilhan Omar. That's the face on the leftist Democrat Progressive Party. They are a scourge on American society, and they should never step foot in the Capitol ever again. But so many people are brainwashed by free stuff and a great new society, a reimagined society, an advanced society, as AOC puts it. She makes it sound like a ride at Disney World. Oh, it's going to be an advanced society, a.k.a. utopia. Read about utopian dreams and how they go. Read about Hitler and his whatever the words were, all the people, get rid of all the Jews. It'll be a better place. It'll be an advanced society. It'll be utopia. The government will take care of you. We'll pay for everything. And we won't have any of those, those Jewish people around, or the people we don't like. We'll get rid of all of them. And we will become that's what this group of people want. This is what they want. They want to get rid of people they see as being lower than them. And that would be most of us. A Democrat recently said we need to put Trump voters in re-education camps. Well, there you go. They're saying what they mean now. There's no double speak there. They want to lock us up and re-educate us like they do in China until we relent to the government control, because they're going to create an advanced society. And there's no place for people who don't think like they do. I swear. I won't stop. No, people try to say, well, you can't be serious. I'm very serious. I'm very resolute in my beliefs. You aren't going to change me. You're not going to change me. You can tell me all day. People tell me in paragraph after paragraph after paragraph why Joe Biden won the election and why he is so the president-elect. And all I say is, no, he's not. I can sum it up in 3 words. No, he's not. They spend paragraphs trying to convince me you're not going to change my mind. You're not going to change the truth with your relentless nagging and your relentless tirade. You're not going to change the truth. You can believe what you want to. You can say what you want to, but it doesn't change the truth. You want tyranny. And you're all ready to jump on board the train, the tyranny train, for the sake of change. Because socialism, unlike other countries, for all of history, is going to be different this time. Why? Well, because AOC is going to be in charge. This time, she was a bartender in the Bronx. Did you know that? That's what we need. Let's try that. Let's not. Let's boot Bernie Sanders to the curb, can we? And AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Presley while we're at it? How about that? And Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, too, while we're at it. They're helping nobody. Nobody but themselves. Nobody but themselves. You leftists, you Kool-Aid drinking leftists, you would be so disappointed if you ever sat in on a meeting with any of these people and heard what they really think of you. If you heard what they really think of you, you would be more pissed off at them than you are at us. We got them right where we want them now. They're all going to vote for us. Ha ha! They believe everything we tell them. I love it. I love it. You don't think they're saying that about you? You don't think they know you're drinking their Kool-Aid, you're drinking their swamp water? Well, that's what they're saying. I guarantee you that's what they're saying. We got them right where we want them. And if we can't get enough of them to vote for us, well, we'll rig the election. We've got plenty of friends in Dominion and in Congress and in the court system to make sure that nobody ever finds out what happened. Believe me, it's happening. It's happening, and you are being played like a pawn, and you think that you're righteous. You think you're righteous in saying, oh, Joe Biden's the president. He won the election. There's no fraud. Are you a fool? Ask yourself that. Are you a fool? Before you call Trump voters Trumpansies and fascists. By the way, you don't know the meaning of the word fascist either, by the way. You have no idea what the word means. Do you know anything other than what they tell you to know? Do you ever look elsewhere for information? I doubt it. I doubt it. Almost 50% of Democrat voters, almost 50% of Democrat voters, the ones that sit there pie-eyed watching MSNBC and CNN in awe, and David Muir and Lester Holt in awe, just, I can't believe this is happening in our country. Do you know that almost 50% of voting Democrats had never heard of the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden briefcase affair? Not briefcase, a laptop affair. They had never heard of it. Had never even heard of it. I knew about it since the first day it broke. Months ago. Right up to the election, almost 50% of Democrats had never heard a thing about it. And you say, we're ignorant? How dare you? You're so cute. Someday you'll grow up. You'll grow up and you'll have to face the real world, and hopefully it won't be a world of tyranny where there is no free speech, there is no food to eat, there is no comfortable housing to live in, there is no opportunity for you to excel and do well for yourself. But there might be free education, and you might be able to get a little free medical care if there are any hospitals left, if there's any room for you in the emergency room, as everybody and his brother will be there trying to get their fair share of free narcotics. Sounds like a utopia to me, huh? How about you? I can't wait. 11:14. Right here on Legacy 1160 WSKW. This is interesting. You know, a way to help the economy. This on CNN. CNN, this is your CNN news. This is CNN. By the way, James Earl Jones is a Republican. Did you know that? This is CNN. I don't think his voice is on there anymore. He probably doesn't want it on there anymore. I haven't heard that for a long time. I knew I was watching news years ago. This is years ago. But when CNN was really the only game in town, and when you heard this is CNN, you know you were watching news. Now you know you're watching propaganda. If you're objective, if you're commonsensical, if you have a brain, you know you're watching propaganda. So they probably don't use that anymore because that sounds too much like news. And they aren't. So here's what CNN was talking about recently. They argued that decriminalizing sex work would serve as a key to rebuilding the economy. And they proposed that presumed President-elect Joe Biden should create a sex worker task force. CNN, that's your news network, CNN. Yeah, let's have the sex trade. Let's make that legal in America. And Joe Biden, by the way, get to work on that right away, okay? In her outrageous opinion piece, which was titled, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Here's How You Can Rebuild the Economy, Decriminalize Sex Work, immigration attorney Sabrina Tluchter advocates for the removal of criminal penalties for buying and selling of sexual acts. I can think of a couple of people who'd be on board with that. Bill Clinton and Robert Kraft. Right? Am I right? This Tluchter, well, I don't know what her name is. She claims it is critical and must be prioritized by a potential Biden-Harris administration within the first 4 years. Oh, she's a smart one. This one, she's probably a prostitute, too. Probably help her bottom line. She then floats the absurd idea of creating a national task force featuring sex workers with diverse experiences. Now, wait, this gets better. This gets better. In the long term, the Biden-Harris administration should implement a national task force focused on gathering quantitative and qualitative data on sex work in the U.S. and the impact of decriminalization. The task force must include sex workers with diverse experiences to best reflect the intersectional world of this industry. Ultimately, the task force should create an effective legislative strategy on formally decriminalizing sex work in the U.S. within the first 4 years of the administration. There won't be a second 4 years, by the way. Well, unless they get rid of the Electoral College. That's in their plans, too. Oh, yeah. And packing the Supreme Court. That's in their plans. That comes from one of the Georgia Democratic Senate candidates' team, as recorded by James O'Keefe of the Veritas Project. That just came out. They do. The Democrats do want to pack the Supreme Court. That's part of the plan. This was just secretly recorded. Anyway, back to the sex story. This Tluchter goes on. If sex work is treated as a legitimate labor, workers can report workplace violations. Isn't every act of sex with a stranger, isn't that kind of a violation of sorts? Now, maybe she means legal violations. So they can report workplace violations and employers to the Department of Labor just like any other employee. The piece also highlights the experience of illegal immigrant sex workers. That's right. They're going to be part of the plan. They're going to be part of the plan that say, you know what? There's always an opening for, pardon the misuse of the English language there, there's always a place for illegal immigrants in the sex field, right? I mean, can you get too many sex workers out there? And they can also document the plight of limited options for someone who is openly trans and undocumented. Now, I don't know if that means trans people and undocumented people, or if that means trans undocumented people. I can't believe we're talking about this. I can't believe this is CNN. Oh my word. I would never have believed this as little as 10 years ago. When the Twin Towers fell and America really got together, and we literally were arm in arm singing God Bless America, Democrats and Republicans, did you ever think we would be at a place like this less than 20 years later? Where the biggest concerns in America are not Chinese interference, Russian interference, Ukrainian interference, corruption between Biden and China, potential war with North Korea or China, a takeover of the U.S. economy by China. But instead, how many genders there are, if we can legalize sex work and make it special for transgenders and illegals. This is, sorry, I don't mean to minimize anybody's plight. I know people are very, this is very near and dear to a minority of people's hearts. I said a minority of people's hearts, I'm saying there are bigger fish to fry, there are bigger worries to be had, there are bigger battles to be fought, wars to be won. And we're talking about this minutia on the news? God have mercy on us. 11:22 right now. We have Kay Sock coming up. She's in Portland, Oregon, and we're going to talk with her. I don't have the ability with this platform at this time. I will. I've just got to do some research to putting the people's picture on the screen. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I will hold her picture up to the camera so you can see who I'm talking with. That's Kay Sock. That's how you spell her name and everything. So, well, it's not her name, it's her moniker, it's her handle. So I'm excited to talk with her. Steve Hilton is on Fox News. He's a very smart guy. He's a Brit. He's not faking the accent. He's host of The Next Revolution on Fox. And in order to And he says that in order to maintain his position as majority leader, Mitch McConnell has got to pledge a full Senate investigation into this voter fraud. He got to. Meanwhile, mainstream media, including Lion Brian Williams over on MSNBC, brainlessly keep saying that these are baseless claims of voter fraud. That's the mantra. That is it right there. Those words exactly quoted by all the talking bobbleheads. Baseless claims of voter fraud. Baseless claims of voter fraud. Baseless claims of voter fraud. Listen, hear it, believe it, repeat it. That's because they aren't real news reporters. They all get their news from memes on Facebook and Twitter posts. Here is the incomparable Steve Hilton. Listen to what this guy has to say. That would be go to cut J. Thank you.
A message to Mitch McConnell about Georgia and the election. There's nothing McConnell wants more than to keep his job as Senate Majority Leader. What he wants personally is what Republicans want politically. It also happens to be what the country needs, as the president made clear last night.
Now they're trying to steal these two important Senate seats from Georgia. And these seats are the last line of defense to save America and protect all that we have accomplished.
But if McConnell wants every Trump voter to get behind the Republican candidates in these Senate races, he needs to do more than take out ads on TV saying how important they are. America is the home of people power and the rule of law. That's what the Constitution is all about. The people's power comes through their vote. So we should want the greatest possible number of legal votes and the smallest possible number of illegal votes. No one can say we have that in America today. Everyone can see that our electoral system has fallen into total disrepute, not by accident, but by design. This year, we saw massive late changes to the system. None of it was necessary to cope with the virus. All of it was pushed by Democrats years before the virus. You can read it in Nancy Pelosi's notorious H.R. 1, early voting, late voting, mass mail-in voting, instant registration, crippling state voter ID laws, corrupt banana republic practices like ballot harvesting. It was deliberate vandalism by the Democrats for their own partisan advantage. We don't know how many votes were affected. So it's ludicrous and offensive for the establishment to state without evidence and without a full investigation that outcomes weren't affected. They all parrot the same mantra.
Baseless claims of voter fraud.
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 How do they know? They don't know. They're just saying it anyway. Listen to this from NPR.
The president repeatedly claimed, falsely, that voting by mail was susceptible to fraud and abuse.
Claimed falsely, election expert Rick Harson said voter fraud occurs through absentee ballots. The bipartisan commission on federal election reform, chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker, said, quote, absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud. Over and over again this year, the Wall Street Journal, to take just one example, warned that mail-in voting would lead to disaster. In 2016, there was a problem with 1.2% of mail-in votes. This year, we had 65 million, double the amount. With that massive overnight increase, you'd expect more problems, not fewer. But now, no one wants to know. Shut up and move on. This establishment arrogance is dangerous for our democracy. We have to get to the bottom of this. It's outrageous that the Trump campaign is fighting on its own. Every single one of those pompous establishment pontificators sanctimoniously lecturing everyone about trust in our democracy should join the fight for election integrity. As usual, the truth is the direct opposite of what they say. It's the total lack of curiosity about what just happened that's really destroying trust in our democracy.
Amen. Steve Hilton, Fox News. Here we are. What's going to come out this weekend? What are we going to learn this weekend? Well, based on what we've learned so far, even though evidence has been overwhelming, you're told there is no evidence of any fraud. You're being told that, and you're not allowed to see for yourself either, by the way, because you're only the people. We're only the people. They're the government. They control us, right? Well, not according to the Constitution, but that's what it's evolved into. That is where we are now. More to come. We've got KSOC coming up from Portland, Oregon. Straight ahead. Stick around. I'm John James.
WSKW, Legacy 1160.
Hi, I'm CJ McKenna, Assistant Dean of Enrollment at Kennebec Valley Community College. Have you been thinking about attending KVCC and need a little nudge? In my position at the college, I have the opportunity to help students begin, continue, or complete a degree. These students are just like you, many balancing multiple responsibilities in addition to their classes. Whether you want to enroll full-time, part-time, or have a conversation about your options, I am here to help. Call me at 453-KVCC, and we can work together to accomplish your educational goals.
When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why I'm here to help. I'm State Farm Agent January Peavy, here to help you select the right protection. I make sure that you understand your coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. With me, State Farm Agent January Peavy, it's easy to make the right choice. Just give me a call, 230-8365. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Electrical repair should never be done without the knowledge of how to do it safely. Better yet, skip that stress and let Kennebec Electric and Lighting take care of it for you. Kennebec Electric has offered professional electric and lighting service and expert installation in homes and businesses for over 37 years, and they stand behind that experience with a guarantee on all their work. Kennebec Electric and Lighting. Contact them for all your electric and lighting servicing, including installations and repairs at 861-7028 or online at KennebecElectric.com.
Do you have itchy, irritated, or burning eyes? Then you're just like 16 million other Americans who suffer from dry eye syndrome. But there is a way to find a solution to the issue. Contact Kennebec Eye Care and schedule an exam. There are many reasons people experience dry eye: medications, systemic diseases, birth control, CPAP machines, and more. And an exam with Kennebec Eye Care will identify what's causing it and how to best treat it. Schedule an appointment today by calling 872-2797. Kennebec Eye Care, your site specialist, 216 Main Street in Waterville, and online at KennebecEyeCare.com.
I'm CBS 13 meteorologist Lexi O'Connor. Expect a mix of sun and clouds for today with temperatures climbing into the low to even some mid-40s. Cloudy tomorrow with rain developing late afternoon and evening. Freezing rain developing inland and through the mountains. Expect some slick travel with icing possible Saturday night into early Sunday, especially away from the coast. Clearing Monday and turning colder for next week.
Your pep rally for freedom is back. Powered by the Gun Shop in Augusta on Coney Circle. Now, here's John James.
Yes, welcome back. Time right now, 11:31, Legacy 1160. And we've got a half hour left. And boy, what a well-spent 2 hours that first 2 hours was, huh? Are you a little bit enlightened? Are you a little disappointed by our system? By the things we are finding out? Or what we are not finding out? I think the omission of what we should know is the bigger story here. And we've got some powerful people fighting for us. But there are also are some very powerful and corrupt people fighting against us. And that's the big worry. Got a guest this hour who's thinking along the same lines we are, and I love this. And although I've only spoken to you briefly, you're what do we call it? A moniker, a handle, I guess, right?
Yeah, a handle. You got it.
K Sok. I was saying Sok, KSOK.
Yeah.
And we're not going to use any names here because you've got a lot of stuff going on. You're in Portland, Oregon.
Yes. Yeah. It's the Wild West over here for sure.
Now is the new autonomous zone still intact?
It is.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, they are planning. The Portland police are planning on how they're going to take it down, since they do have support from the mayor, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
But it is currently intact, and they don't have a current plan that I'm aware of on when they're going to take it down.
No kidding.
Strategic.
Now these people, is it both Antifa and BLM there in that house, K-Soak?
You know, that is where it's a little blurry for me because I know it's a confirmed Antifa house, but I feel like the lines between the two groups have completely blurred. I feel like at this point, the way I view it is they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And they work together. They communicate. They know what each other's doing. So I just consider them all Antifa at this point.
So they're like all in one group.
Mm-hmm.
And they're clearly they're Marxist. I mean, they're Marxist, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So now this house, the red house and on Mississippi Street or Avenue or something, is that it?
Yep, that's it.
And they're weaponized. They're getting a cache of weapons. And they're setting booby traps. So this is how far are you from this?
Oh, thankfully I'm in the burbs, so I'm about 25 minutes. I'm at 25 minutes.
Wow. Have you seen any activity out that far in your neighborhoods?
You know, in my neighborhood, no. But what we have seen is and this is where I hate to get mad at these ignorant people, but I've seen a lot of the BLM signs, there's been BLM marches, and a lot of them are high school age, and so they're just being brainwashed by their peers and their teachers and their parents. So that's the extent of what I'm seeing where I live, thankfully.
Okay. Now you're cutting out. You're fading in and out a little bit, and I don't know if you're in a bad place or if you're on Bluetooth or something. I don't know.
No, let me, not sure what's going on there, but I will move.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I just.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Better. Yeah.
So now you're mayor, and I won't stay with Portland, Oregon this whole time. But naturally, we've got somebody from Portland on. We're very curious about what is and what has been going on out there. Now, you have got an absolute, but all due respect, so you've got an absolute deplorable mayor in Ted Wheeler there, and he's actually gone out and stood among the protesters saying, "We're with you," and now all of a sudden he's beckoning police to come to the rescue after your city, wanted the police defunded, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's confused. He almost lost to a woman, Sarah Iannarone, who coined herself as the Antifa mayor. She lost by 2 points.
Yeah.
So that tells you really how confused residents of Portland are.
Wow.
So yeah, he was trying, my stance with Ted is that he's trying to appease everybody. And as we all know, you just can't be successful when you don't take a stance. And, they ended up turning their backs on him, and they let his condo complex on fire. They set it on fire.
Yeah, he had to. Did he end up moving?
He did.
Yeah.
He ended up moving. And I'm not sure what part of town he's in, probably somewhere in the burbs now.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's like, the very people he's trying to protect and appease, they turned on him because he wasn't doing enough, apparently.
That's funny.
So,
yeah. No. I'm just saying that seems to be the way it is in all the municipalities. The very people they're lining up with trying to appease all these big city mayors, the Lori Lightfoots and the Bill de Blasios, all of these people, while he tries to appease them, obviously the righteous of us, the ones who want law and order and want a government for the people, we're angry, and the very people they're trying to appease hate them already. So I don't understand the electorate, what the thought in the electorate is. And by the way, I'm sorry that you had a choice between an Antifa mayor and a tyrant in Ted Wheeler. You had no choice.
I know. It's really disgusting. And there was a Republican write-in. So if that tells you something, there wasn't even somebody from the Republican Party on the ballot. It was a write-in. So it's just a wild place to be. And, it's sad. And there's so many people like me that are Republican, are conservative, or even independent and don't support what's happening. But, Portland, it just you can't win with all of the loonies here. There's just no way to flip it red in the Portland area. And because of that, the entire state of Oregon goes blue every time.
Yeah. Ironically, or coincidentally, I should say, we have a Portland that is just like yours. We have Portland, Maine, which is Maine's biggest city here. And it is a very blue city, and they never elect a Republican mayor or a Republican city council, and they are doing the $15 an hour minimum wage and the whole bit. And so they're like maybe they should be sister cities. Maybe I will float that, queso.
There you go.
And see if maybe they want to join forces with Portland, Oregon.
There you go. It's so disappointing. It really is. And I feel like this is what is mind-boggling to me. I feel like the most beautiful places in the United States are blue, and I don't understand it. Like, the whole West Coast, gorgeous,
California,
very blue. Like, and I don't get it. New York City, wonderful place, so blue. So it's just really interesting to me. It's like people stay. Like, I love the environment here. I stay because I hike and I love the mountains and the ocean and the rivers. But then you're stuck because you enjoy that, but you have to put up with these horrible politics.
Yeah, and there's no way to get rid of them, unfortunately. And Maine is becoming one of them. I mean, New England, for the most part. I mean, we're home to Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts. We're home to Bernie Sanders in Vermont. I mean, it's horrible. And the governor of Massachusetts is a rhino.
Oh, geez.
Now they're in Oregon. You have dealt not only with the horrible lockdowns, the draconian lockdowns, but you've also had to deal with Antifa in the same, these same business districts where businesses are already struggling. Now you've got Antifa thugs down there throwing bottles and fireworks and what have you at police, and now taking over an area, an autonomous zone. What is COVID-19 doing to your area?
Oh, it's rough. It's we've had some of the worst lockdowns in the country unnecessarily, because our numbers for the longest time, we were ranked like 42 out of 50. Oregon was. Yet our governor, Kate Brown, since she's incredibly liberal, and she just follows suit with what Ted and Gavin Newsom do.
Yeah,
so they're just like the Three Stooges over here. But it's been really rough. So without divulging my industry, I do support small business quite a bit, and I've been a professional in the same industry for 16 years, and so I deal with small business owners quite a bit. But it's really, really disheartening, and because what I'm finding is these small businesses that are being closed because they're not considered essential, they are failing, but on the other hand, they're the ones voting for these politicians, and so it's really frustrating. It's like on one hand you feel really bad for what they're going through, but on the other hand it's almost like, okay, well, this is the leadership you voted in.
Right.
So it is very disheartening, though. I mean, it's one of those things where all of the liquor stores are open. All in Oregon, in a lot of states now, but marijuana is there's just shops you can stop in and legal to purchase. So all of those are open, but then you have restaurants and that can't open outside of delivery or pickup, and it's killing their business. And Oregon, especially Portland, is really known for the restaurant scene. We don't do the big box thing here. We don't do the larger chain restaurants here. It's just really ornate, great little restaurants, and those are the ones that are unfortunately closing down because of this.
Well, I was just reading Alignable just did a study. I don't know if you saw that. Over 6,000 small businesses were polled and asked about their situations. Almost half are expected to possibly close down. Small businesses, not just restaurants, small businesses. And
I did not see that article. And actually, I will go find that, because last night I was searching around for a good article. I want to share something on my LinkedIn. On your LinkedIn, you can't be too political, but I want to be factual. And I wanted to share something about, really my angle on LinkedIn right now is small business and how small business is failing due to COVID restrictions. And that would be a great article for me to dive further into, because it is hard to find specific numbers.
Yeah.
Pertaining to really what's happening, because we all know restaurants are failing left and right, and businesses in general. But to have the actual number, that's powerful.
It is very powerful, and I can get you an actual statistic here. I think I've got it here. It's just I've got such a stack of stuff, but it was earth shattering to me. I think I've got it right near the top of my stuff here. No
pressure.
no pressure. No, I know what I did wrong. I picked the wrong thing, and because that always happens when you try to do things in a hurry, you
exactly
pick the wrong thing.
That.
Okay, here I've got it right here. Just got to scroll down a little bit. Well, at least I thought I did.
Oh,
business.
no worries.
Oh, okay, here we go, right here. Nearly half of small business owners across the nation at risk of closing by year's end.
Wow.
About 48% of the owners said they're generating revenues below what they need to stay in business, according to Alignable's Small Business Funding Needs Report. And this actually appeared on Fox News. 6,300 U.S. business owners during the first week of December were polled. And Paycheck Protection Program passed, was only a short-term fix.
Right.
87% of small business owners say they need an additional funds to survive. 60% said the need is critical. So we're in dire straits in this country as far as small businesses.
Absolutely. And that's the backbone of our country. So it's just heartbreaking. And I appreciate you sharing that information with me. Yeah, that's huge. And that's so current too. Everything I was looking at seemed to be over the summer.
Well, it's tough to find, especially if you use Google. Stuff is really hard to find. So in fact,
I switched. I'm a DuckDuckGo girl now.
Yeah. Well, I was Googling just because that comes up on one of my browsers. I Googled this thing. We found this out that the algorithm, not the algorithm, it was an audit, a forensic audit of a machine in Antrim County, Michigan. We heard that was going to be starting on Sunday morning, and they had 48 hours to do the forensic analysis of the machine and deduce whether or not it was true that 6,000 votes were switched to Joe Biden. So yesterday, I'm wondering whatever happened to the information about this machine audit. Well, last night, apparently, on Lou Dobbs, I could not find this on Google. I found it on DuckDuckGo. An interview with one of the ballot checkers said that a judge in Michigan has ruled that people are not going to be allowed to see what the outcome of the audit is.
Oh my gosh!
So
it's just asinine.
It's asinine, is right. It's what happened to We the People case. We're talking with K-Sock, by the way. That's her handle on. You're on a bunch of things. You're on Twitter. You're all over the place, and we'll go through all those. But she is based in Portland, Oregon, which is where she is. God bless you. I mean, you're a great American, and you're married to.
I consider myself a soldier at this point.
Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're all soldiers.
God.
We are. And
that's true.
You're married to a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, in Portland.
And so he actually is on patrol in Portland?
Yes.
What are some of the things he's encountered?
Oh gosh. Well, he's definitely, so he has been, there are videos, and it looked like a Braveheart scene. This is back in, August. Portland had, the Antifa was rioting how many nights straight? I think it ended up being over 100.
Yeah, it was a crazy
great night.
I know. Thank you, Ted Wheeler.
So, it was really, as a police officer wife, it was really, in the beginning, it was incredibly emotional. I couldn't sleep. I was up till 1 a.m. cleaning, to get my nervous energy out, because I knew my husband was out dealing with this. Right after George Floyd, they didn't quite know what was going to be coming down the pipe. And so they were understaffed. Nobody was called in on overtime. It was him and at one point, the scariest point was him and 4 guys against a mob of 200.
Wow.
And so, he said he kept visualizing his family at home sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
And that kept him going.
Yeah.
Wow. So just hearing, it's funny because I would say I'm pretty alpha, and he's a little more alpha than I am, but it triggered something inside of me. I was just this beast was born when I knew what my husband was dealing with, because I just wanted to protect him more. And that's when I had enough, and I recorded my first TikTok, and it went viral because it was just raw. It was just me just saying basically, I'm sick of this. It was just quite pointed. And so, so he's been dealing with a lot, but it was funny to watch the switch in him. It was almost like he went from not knowing what to expect to gearing up for battle. And he almost had it was almost not exciting. I hate to say that. He just got accustomed to it.
Wow.
And it was you don't know what's going to happen. He was just probably just an adrenaline thing, as adrenaline gets pumped up as he leaves for work. And
right.
He's had urine bombs thrown at him, school bombs thrown at him, paint bombs, beer cans, beer bottles. I mean, anything that can hurt somebody, rocks. The police officers were just, they weren't given. Right now there's so many negatives being said about why don't they do this? Why don't they just shoot him? Why don't they just? You can't do that. Then you're going to end up in jail for murder. So the thing is like they have to learn to really just pick their battles. Meanwhile, they're being called every name in the book and they're having things thrown at them. But unless they truly feel that their life is in danger, they can't act. They're not supported to do more than gas at this point.
How many police have retired or left the force since all this lack of support happened?
Oh gosh, I believe the last number was 116.
116 left the force.
Yeah, and they pay well, and they have great benefits. So it's not like they're a mediocre paying outfit. It's tough when you leave. It's for a reason. And actually, there's a lot that are switching over to Idaho right now. They're moving in. They're going to law enforcement outfits in Idaho, which I've been begging my husband to do, but he's not ready.
Not ready, huh? Wow.
No.
Wow. Good. God bless him. Thank him for his service. That's amazing.
I will.
And you, I mean, you have 2 children?
Yes.
Young children?
6-year-old.
Yeah.
10 and 6, yeah.
Now you're obviously you certainly want to stay under the radar to an extent, but there have got to be some people, especially in your area, who know who you are and what you do, right?
No, that's the funny thing.
That's good. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, no one really. So none of my friends know what I do. Actually, one of my friends recommended to my friend's husband. My friend is a raging liberal, and her husband is very conservative. I don't know how that works.
I don't
that
either.
Would not work for me.
Yeah,
that's a no-go for me. But he pulled me to the side. He's like, "Hey, I saw your YouTube. I didn't know you did that." And I'm like,
"Wow."
So I do try to keep it. My employer is my company is based in Portland, and anything here is super liberal, and I try to keep it under wraps. So really none of my friends know. And unless I happen to be randomly recommended to somebody, that's how they find out. So no, nobody really knows. It's a secret around here.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, now, are you working with a network at this time? Are you working with Right America Media by any chance?
Yeah, I am actually.
I thought you might be because I get your name from our friend Juan.
Yes.
And so you're are you going to be doing a show on there?
This is my very first interview actually, and so we're just going to feel it out and play by ear. That sounds to be the objective at this point.
Wow, you're great. You're great.
Well,
if this is your first interview, you're great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, I'm good at talking. So
yeah, well, no, you're a great interview. I mean, this is
keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real, and you have the answers. You just speak from the heart, and that's the best kind of interview in the world. And you've got some great experiences. Obviously, you've got young children, so you're not that old, but you've got a lot of wisdom. As does there's somebody else on the Right American Network. Well, a couple of other people actually, Alex Lanes and Savvy, the Savvy Truth. Just terrific American young women. And I feel that we have really got some great young voices out there who know how to speak truth and are very compelling. And we need more people like you who can speak truth to power and aren't afraid. And, some of these people are getting their lives are being threatened. And that's not cool.
Right.
It's not right. Free speech in the country, as you and I both know, is starting to become a distant memory as more and more edicts get put on us by social media, by so-called hate speech, and by the news networks. You've got to watch what you say everywhere you go, or you're going to be, if you're not, someday you're going to be arrested. So says Jonathan Turley. The liberal, you heard about that, right?
I did.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to watch what you say in your home, that's a different country, and that's where we're headed right now.
Absolutely.
And
so, yeah, I'm just at the point, and I guess my main takeaway or what I want to put out into the universe is, us conservatives have been quiet for so long. We've been the poised one, the proper ones, and we can't do that anymore. And so you have to be brave, and you have to be vulnerable, and you have to take a little risk to stand up for your freedom.
Amen.
And it's very serious. And,
amen.
The time is now, and if you lose a few friends, and that's okay. They weren't friends to begin with. That's where I'm at.
Wow, listen to you. I mean, this is when I talk to somebody like you, I feel like everything I have been saying for the last year or more is being corroborated. I mean, you're saying exactly what I say. You've got to stand up. You have to get rid of the fear. You have to stand up. We've got to fight. And if you lose friends, they weren't your friends to begin with. Don't worry.
Exactly.
There are plenty of people out there who want to be your friend. You don't need the ones you thought were your friends.
Right. You sure don't. You sure don't. That actually made me choke up a little bit. It's so, because you put so much energy into something, and I'm balancing being a mom and having a career, but I do this out of the passion of the importance of the message.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your support. That's awesome.
No, that's great. I mean, we're singing the same tune, and I can't even sing. I don't know if you can sing.
I can hold a tune, but that's about it.
Okay, well, same here. I can carry a tune. I'm not tone deaf, but my singing voice kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Me too.
Alex Lane's over on the channel. I don't know if you watched her show at all, but she's great. Well, she's usually on other shows. She was on last night. I saw her, but she's also a singer. And wow, you talk about a great voice. She's got it. So a little inside information on some of the personalities over there.
I love it.
So yeah, you'll want to check that out. But
definitely.
But I want to hit on one more thing here. I don't know. You've got a bunch of things you love to talk about. President Trump. I mean, this is, and we've got a couple of minutes to talk about this.
Okay.
President Trump and the voter fraud, the election fraud, it's being swept under the rug. Is there any such thing as news in the mainstream media anymore, or is it all, in your mind, just propaganda?
Yeah, no, I would say it's propaganda. I dropped Fox on election day, and now I only listen to Newsmax.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like OAN too, but no, it's propaganda. And the amazing thing is, though, people like me, people like you, we are making moves. We are encouraging people to not just let it be swept under the rug. So that's where the power is right now. It's really in the people.
It really is. This is true grassroots. When the people have to go out of their way and have a voice to be heard, because nobody's going to let you have a voice. Not even the objective, social media aren't going to let you have a voice. So we literally have to be our own voice.
Exactly.
100%.
100%.
And geez, I really appreciate what you're doing, and keep your fingers crossed and your hopes and your faith high. I know you're a woman of faith, and I have faith as well, and I'm putting all my faith in God at this point, because I'm losing faith in the American justice system and the American political class, because every step of the way, whether they're Republican judges or Democrat judges, none of them want us to, they don't want to hear they don't even want to hear the argument. They just dismiss it out of hand, and enough.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely with you. That's the only thing keeping me going, is knowing, just prayer.
Yeah.
And ultimately he's in charge, and it's a wild ride. We'll do what we can meanwhile.
Amen to that.
How it ends.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, KSOK. Now, what are the sites? Where can you be found besides YouTube?
Yeah. So you know what? And YouTube shadow banned me, so I'm mad at them right now. So,
Unreal.
But favorite. Surprisingly, my Instagram account, hopefully they're not listening, has not had any issues. So, and it's KSOK lower 48.
KSOK lower 48.
Yeah, so that's my Instagram account. And I actually respond to anyone that messages me. I have virtual friends that I've made. It's absolutely a wonderful place for me.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite. And from there, you can find my other handles. But Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and TikTok's not the greatest outlet anyways. It's owned by China, and they ban conservatives also.
Right.
I did switch over to, I have Clapper now too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some of these things, I'm just trying to explore the areas where I'm not going to get shadow banned.
Well, you can't. But, it can't hurt to try new things. I started on Twitch, VK.com, which is a Russian site. It's like the Russian Facebook, but a lot of Americans on there, and there are a bunch of them out there. So we'll have to chat at some point and sort of share
definitely.
ideas.
Definitely. Exciting.
We're up against our next show right now. If you'd hold on just a couple of minutes, I'll pick up the phone and talk with you. But we do have to we've got our next show coming up, and I appreciate your time, K-Soak. And
thank you.
God bless you, and very best of luck to you. And you're a great interview. Hopefully,
thank you so much.
Hopefully Juan is listening right now. He probably is. So.
Well, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You hold on. I'll be right with you. And coming up now, it is Conserving the Maine Outdoors with David Trahan and Mike Shaw. And let me tell you just a little bit about why you're going to want to listen to this show. Now, this show, the first guest is going to be a guy named Patrick Linehan, who you may know from Modern Woodmen of America. Big givers of funds to help people out. They're going to help Sam with not only the youth area on their huge property in Augusta, but they're also going to help build a new pond that is going to be a family pond so families can fish. There are a lot of adults, it turns out, don't know how to fish. So there's going to be a second pond in addition to the youth pond where the adults can also fish with the kids. Pat Linehan is going to be talking a little bit about that with David and Mike. And then you're going to want to hear the next guest. This is a very sad story. But a great guy, Troy Ripley, lost his daughter in, I call it a hunting accident, but the guy who shot his daughter and killed her on their own property was just, he wasn't a hunter. I mean, it was just a horrible miscalculation, a poor shot, a very unprepared shot. It's basically a sound shot. And a real hunter doesn't take sound shots. He lost his daughter. He'll talk about that. And he is partnered with Sam. His name is Troy Ripley. His daughter was 18 years old. That's coming up next. I'm John James, and this is your Pep Rally for Freedom. Mike Violet back here on Monday morning at 6. I will see you at 9. Have a great weekend.
From the Home Auto Group Studios, Farmington Ford and Franklin Chrysler in Farmington.